What's up, everybody? It's Mac from MacTheMovieGuy.com, and I'm here with the first smash hit of the summer, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. If you didn't catch my sort of semi-review of the first Guardians that I posted a couple days ago, that's still on the channel. You can definitely check that out if you want to know my thoughts about the first film. But I did get out and see the second film this morning, and I definitely have some thoughts about that. But before we get started into whether or not I like the film, let's talk about what this film is about. Guardians Volume 2 sees our titular Guardians helping out at first a race of golden people who later become the villains. It sees Star-Lord finally getting to meet his dad. It sees Yondu doing a lot of soul searching, Gamora and Nebula having a lot of sister bonding time, and Rocket and Groot having some bonding time, and Rocket having a lot of like grown-up moments. Drax is explored a little bit more here as comedic relief, and we're introduced also to Mantis, who has sort of an interesting power that you would think couldn't really be used in combat, but she does somehow manage to use it in combat at least once in the film, so good for her. I think the plot is sort of a little bit of a mess, but not really in a bad way. It's just there isn't really a coherent plot so much as there is a coherent theme. And the theme is family. And actually, I kind of liked that. Like, I didn't really mind it too much. That the film really attempted to show us who these characters are, because I think the first film was all about establishing tone and setting up these characters, and the second film is showing us more dimensions of these characters and showing us that these characters are not so easily written off as Star-Lord just being the cocky one, you know, or the quippy one-liner Rocket. These characters have so much more depth to them in the second film. The film itself has so much more depth to it than the first film. It's a much more serious and thoughtful film than the first film, and because of that, yes, it does slow down a lot. It has moments where it seems like the story comes to a screeching halt, and that is why I kind of feel like the second Volume 2, even though I appreciate a lot of what it did, it also just isn't as good as the first one, because it does have pacing issues, which the first one didn't have. It does have these really sort of slow moments where everything comes to a halt. A lot of them involve Kurt Russell and his exposition with Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. Russell plays Ego, Chris Pratt's father, and he does a lot of explaining. And there are several scenes where I feel like the movie just kind of comes to a halt. And I don't necessarily think that the film shouldn't have told Ego's backstory. It's very relevant to the plot, it's very relevant to the film, but it is possible that there could have been a different way to tell the backstory and not so much just straight up exposition. It was a bit much for me, and it slowed the film. I've heard a lot of people talk about the gold people as being the detractors for the film. A lot of people didn't like them as villains. For me, when I'm done with the film, I can see that they are sort of like a MacGuffin, and then I don't mind them so much. They're basically dangling shiny keys in front of a baby to distract you from what you're not seeing. So I think they serve their purpose. If they were the core villains of the story, I would be disappointed. But without spoiling the film, that is all I can say right now. Yes. So, man, trying to do this review without spoilers is really hard as a video review. So I liked a lot about this film. I liked what they did with Nebula and Yondu, who were both sort of secondary characters in the first film, and they became way more fleshed out. Like, I mean, I think they have more to do in this film possibly than Drax does. Drax was really the only character that I walked away from this film feeling like I didn't know more about him. But I definitely learned a lot more about Nebula and about Yondu. And it was those relationships that I really think strengthened the movie, because we could see more of Nebula and her relationship to Gamora and how Nebula really feels. And she's not just a moody bitch for no reason whatsoever. She does give some of her backstory, and it is kind of heartbreaking. And so when I saw her with Gamora, it added so much more weight to those scenes. And Yondu, same thing. Like, we learn way more about Yondu's backstory. We learn way more about how he came into possession of Star-Lord in the first place, and about his development with Star-Lord, and how he currently feels about Star-Lord. So it adds so much more to the film having those two characters fleshed out. There's no Thanos in this movie, so for anybody expecting that, we're gonna have to wait for Infinity War. Mantis, I thought, was an okay addition to the film. I don't know if they're trying to set her up as an eventual love interest for Drax or not, but she's okay. Again, I think she'll get more fleshed out as we get to know her, but she was introduced, and I didn't hate her, and she's also not my favorite character in the film. So there's that. I thought Kurt Russell did a good job as Ego. He definitely has that kind of flavor of Chris Pratt, so you believe him as Chris Pratt's father. He's got that kind of like goofy, smiley charm that Chris Pratt does so well. So he works really well in that, and he's a good actor. So, yeah. I think Guardians had some pacing issues, but Guardians is still a lot of fun. There's a scene where Rocket's locked up, and he's trying to get Baby Groot to find a specific item to help him break out of prison. And I laughed my ass off the whole time. That scene went on forever, but I never wanted it to end. It was so funny. And every time he kept bringing something back that wasn't the right thing, I thought it was hilarious. Baby Groot in this film is adorable. They're going to sell so much merchandise. I don't know. I think I was worried that Baby Groot would not be, but he is on film. He's not annoying. It's not annoying to see Baby Groot. He's adorable and is somewhat useful occasionally. Yeah, I thought Drax was funny in this. I thought Rocket has some really great moments. He's teasing this guy named Taserface, and that whole sequence, I was laughing my ass off too. So, in many respects, I think I had harder laughs, honestly, this time around. But there were a couple times where the film dragged, and I can say, from having just seen the original Guardians a few days ago, that one doesn't drag. It doesn't have pacing issues. So this one actually does a little bit of pacing issues. So I think at the end of the day, it is just slightly below the original, but it's like right there. I mean, it has things that it does better than the original and things that it does worse. So then it kind of evens out. So that's where I'm left with this predicament of trying to figure out, how do I grade Guardians? I graded the original Guardians of the Galaxy an A-, and like I said, I think this film has things it does better. Yes, it has things it does worse, but at the end of the day, I really enjoyed it. I think it's a really solid sequel. I think I love the cast. I can't wait to see them in Infinity War. I can't wait to see the dynamics of working with the other Avengers that we already know and love, and seeing how people like Rocket Raccoon work with Iron Man, and, you know, what does Star-Lord have to say about Black Widow, and all this other stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. I definitely say go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 if you haven't already. It's definitely worth it. I'm going to give this film also an A-. Alright, so that's my review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. What did you think? Did you see it yet already? It's opening day, so maybe you have. If you have and you think I'm right or I'm wrong, comment below and give me your thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I'm hoping to get out and see at least one other movie this weekend. I still haven't seen Lost City of Z. Still haven't seen How to Be a Latin Lover, but Colossal just came out in my market, so I'm really actually hoping to see Colossal this weekend. So if I get another review up this weekend, it is probably going to be Colossal. So I need more subscribers. Don't forget to subscribe, and until my next review, peace out.